And I know every relationship is different. I know some people, they don't have joint accounts.
I do too. And that's just a weird feeling because you go out to eat and like, who gonna pay and all that, and and then there's another thing where I think some of the guys, they feel like, well, you work and I work, like why I got to pay all the bills? That'll be kind of the argument that I've heard. Um, and I usually just I'm like, okay, don't you already pay rent? Don't you already pay mortgage? Like, why is that any different? Hello and welcome to the Bold Black Girls podcast. I'm Aries.
And I am Kim.
Happy Sunday.
Ooh, Sunday fun day.
But Sunday for us as we record on Sundays.
True. And Sunday fun day looks a little different in this new COVID time.
I'm worried. I don't know if I'm worried yet, but I am so comfortable in my weekend routine that I have developed that when the world opens back up, I'm like, people gonna be like, hey, let's go meet for this and that. And I'll be like, nah, I'm good.
I am afraid too, because I'm also comfortable and I'm also seeing the benefits of this new routine.
I want somebody. Yes.
We'll get more into that later. But we've talked about how much money we're able to save, because you just think about, going to brunch. That's an easy $40-$50.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you drink mimosas like me.
Correct. So yeah, I'm gonna have a problem going back into the real world when it opens back up.
Yeah, we have time because it's gonna be a minute before normalcy comes back. I really don't think that there are people who we could say they're out, they're kicking it, doing things, but in reality, COVID is still here. So
right.
Even when the vaccine comes out and all that, that's going to be probably 2022 was going to be more likely to be
realistically.
Yeah, because first of all, we're not going to be standing in line for that vaccine. So that's going to be a whole nother conversation on how they going to work that in. And then,
seeing the impacts of the vaccine.
Exactly. So I'm not in a hurry, to be honest with you. I'm trying to maximize this time as much as I can. Only thing I think is like kind of spending time with family and stuff like that. That, for instance, Thanksgiving, right? We just did Thanksgiving. And my dad did come the week before Thanksgiving.
Good. I'm glad he did. That was a smart move.
Yeah, he came the week before, and then he's leaving next Saturday. So he'll be, he kind of will beat that rush of everybody going right now. Like this weekend, right now, everybody's probably going back home. So he gonna give them a whole week to get on out of the airport, and then he'll be home the next following weekend. So
I love how you did that.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't want you. First of all, he's of age,
right?
69 years old. So, and he had a heart situation, previously. And so I'm like, you're susceptible to everything. So when he goes back, trust me, I'm going to have him with the N95 mask and the everything with the filters and all that stuff as he goes back to the airport and all that. But he was not taking no for an answer. You know how some people probably, I've seen this with certain friends and their grandparents was like, yo, y'all coming up over here for Thanksgiving. Because, that's like the grandparents' holiday, basically.
Right.
Bringing all their family together. So I saw some very respectable celebrations where people were on Zoom and, things where they were trying not to
gather.
But he was like, I'm coming to see my grandkids. I ain't seen my grandkids all year. This is so I had to compromise. That's why the dates were the way they were. Because I'm like, okay, well, this will make me feel better that you're not out here when everybody out here.
Exactly.
And stuff. And in Texas, we got a lot going on. So we're open and we also have a lot of cases. So
whereas where he's from, didn't they shut it down?
They shut it back down again. I know LA did. I'm not sure if the Bay, what they're doing. They were already really shut down anyways. So I think Los Angeles did a stay-at-home order. I don't think the Bay Area did that. They went back to the stay-at-home order. So yeah, but we still had a good time.
Good. I'm glad.
Light, like I said last week, I just did some candy yams, some macaroni and cheese, some dressing, and that good old Popeyes chicken, pre-cooked turkey. That you just put it in the oven for 2.5 hours, and it is good. It is seasoned. Look, if y'all don't know how to cook, which I do, but I just did not have time. I did not feel like doing all the.
You didn't feel like going through that.
For what? I'm like, I go there, and good old, and the juices were. It was just good. I used that, make some gravy out of that. It was a good old situation. So
that sounds good.
Yeah. How about you? How was your Thanksgiving?
Pretty much the same as yours. We cooked some sides. We split the responsibility.
Nice. What was yours?
Dressing. And I made the turkey wings. So instead of doing a whole turkey, we went and found some turkey wings. I just cooked one pack because we don't eat a lot of meat.
And it's only the 3 of you. So
right. And we are struggling over here trying to get rid of it. So because I'm over leftovers.
Yeah, today I was telling my dad I'm gonna do the traditional turkey sandwich because he had one. He was like, "You gotta do it." This. I was like, I didn't even eat turkey. I didn't even eat any of it. I had a little corner because
the boys.
The boys did. My mom did. My dad did. I don't care about turkey like that. I'll do a turkey sandwich though. You know.
Okay, it was good.
I'm gonna try it just so I can say I had some of the stuff. But after that, I told him, I said, we're not. This is the last day. This is it. So we're over leftovers. But yeah, what did Miss Sharon cook?
She made the string beans and the sweet potato casserole.
So y'all do the casserole situation.
Yeah, we do the casserole.
Marshmallow.
Yes, and the pecans.
Yeah, see, that's not. I love to hear people's different traditional foods that they make. Yeah, I'm a candied. I need candied yams. I need them yams to be candied and caramely almost. By the time you get them, I want them to be sticky.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. So I like it. I don't know why I like it, but I mean we've had candy yams, but
that's like kind of what you're brought up on. Is kind of what you're.
Exactly, just because like some people put an egg in their dressing, right? I don't put an egg in my dressing.
I do not put egg in my dressing. I cook my grandmother's dressing.
I
have a family recipe. Literally me, my grandmother, my 2 aunts, we are the dressing people.
I love it.
Those women. That is how I like. My mom she's not a cook like that. So
you keep it going.
Yeah. And she's the type that like, she always tells me, she's like, girl, thank God for your grandmother. And I thank God, she's like, that somebody got this skill. She's like, this stuff tastes like my mama food. Like that's when I know I did a good job. And she tastes like my mama's food. Because literally her mama taught me how to cook. So
and she didn't get that. She didn't pick up on that.
She never has been known as the cook. My uncles cook better than my mom. She will tell you that. My uncles throw down. My family,
your mama can clean. She can clean really good.
Creole style. Like my uncles can burn. Okay, and so all of them know how to cook. And so they always be like, Janet would just be in the kitchen, get out of here. You know, like they make fun of her. Like, but I ate her food. I was fine with her food, you know, growing up. It wasn't like it's nasty. It's just not the same. You know, she just really, really tripping off of that. So yeah.
Okay.
So that's a good quality that I love. And I'm actually Marvin. He was in the kitchen with me most of the time. Like he's my little sous chef. He wants to learn how
because you don't have any daughters. So
exactly. LJ is just like his daddy.
Chilling on the couch.
Does not want to, he has no interest in learning how to cook at all. He helped grate like a little bit of cheese, one part, you know, but Marvin was the one like, let me do it. Let me stir it. Let me do this. So I was like, come on, I got to get this to somebody. Somebody needs to get these recipes.
So. And Kiara made the macaroni. So that's all we needed. It was just, she really can. She can cook. She had learned from my mother and I, so I feel like she got it from both of us. And for her age, that little girl can cook, and she's creative, so she'll go find a recipe and she will try it. I remember one Thanksgiving, she was like, I want to make red velvet cupcakes. Mom said, give us some money so she can make some red velvet. So I said, bring the receipt back. She was like, it was $70. I said, oh no, ma'am. What did you? I said, what did you buy? I said, I could have gone and got a cake for that from Cake Bar.
Right.
I was pissed off. She said, well, that's that. My mother says, well, that's, when you make homemade things,
quality product
items cost. Yeah. I'm like, girl, get out of here.
Go to Sprinkles, get a dozen.
Hello. So yeah, we came together as a team. So it helps when there's more than one person doing the work.
Yeah, it really does. And I usually don't have that. So that's why I didn't do a lot. And it wasn't many of us, so it was just me, my dad, my mom, and the boys.
And you think back, that cooking for a bunch of people is work.
It is. We used to have, when I was married and my in-laws would be over and all that, they do big deal Thanksgiving. So I used to have 2 turkeys, a roasted one and a fried one. And then we did all the stuff I named. We would do potato salad and this and that. I mean, it was just everything you could think of. And I'm like, it was everybody. We needed it because it was that many people that would be over here.
And you need that food. Like when I go over to Valerie's house, when I tell you she has a spread, but she has 7 kids plus our offsprings.
So you got to do it.
You have to have multiple items. Like people laugh because like she makes spaghetti. It's
spaghetti has a place. You know how I feel about spaghetti in
potato salad. Like it's everything. She has everything, but because I'm a smaller family, I'm like, look, we don't keep it simple because I'm not going to cook. 2, I don't want to have leftovers for another week.
No. I've determined that I need a man that knows how to cook something.
I do too. And at least that he's self-sufficient and can cook for himself in the event that I am not
going to feel like it.
Most times I won't. I've been delivered.
I can. Don't get it twisted. If it's if it calls for the time for someone needs to cook something, I can cook a meal. Like on Sundays, we might have Sunday dinner. That could be a thing. We can make that a whole traditional thing that we do every Sunday. Great. Don't be looking for me Monday through Friday all the time. You better get up in here and get something. Because you
better take a couple of nights.
Yeah, I'm working every single day just like you. So anyway, that's just, I mean, come on. Me and my dad literally had this conversation. I don't know how we got on this, but me and my dad had this conversation when he came. We were just having this talk because he's very, he's 69. So in his a wife, there is a role attached to that. And think about a 69-year-old man. What are they going to think?
Yeah. Cooking, cleaning.
I'm the person in his life that helps him stay relevant in time. Like we are in this day and age now. Okay. Let's put this in context. So I was like, okay, if you're right now, let's just say, I said, think about this. If I work every single day, and because back in those days, it was a partnership because of the roles that usually, this is just generalizing, right? The woman, she's taking care of the family, she's cooking, she's taking care of the kids, all that stuff, house cleaning, all that stuff. That was her job. She wasn't out in corporate America.
Correct.
Right? Or wherever.
Her job was the home and the kids.
Home and kids. And then you were out there blue collar working, or wherever you're working at, and bringing the bacon home. That's the whole bringing home the bacon so she could fry it, right? Well, what happens when now we both are bringing home the bacon, right? So we need to share some of the responsibilities. Now, if we're putting all our money into the pot, then what makes it where I got to do an extra job now, which is all that same stuff that you expected from the woman who was at home all day, not doing a separate job, right? That's not fair. I told my dad, I'm like, what are you bringing to the table to make me want to even do all that? Like what is the extra stuff that's making me excited to want to do an extra job?
Correct.
That's the part that I feel like be missing. So, anywho, all that to say, please, if you're out there, I need you to go take some cooking lessons. Anywho, we got to go golfing
together. We did. So was it Friday? You called me. I was resting in my bed, per usual. And you were like, hey, we're going to go do a short game. And actually, the weather was really nice.
It was a little chilly for my taste.
Well, as we got out there later, we were out there later, it got cooler. But we had talked about going to play golf when your dad comes because that's like a free golf lesson.
It is. And he definitely...
From an expert. He did a great job.
It was packed. The driving range, we typically would just go there and hit balls, whatever. But he was like, come on, we're going to do a short game. I would have never probably done that by myself. Like, I wouldn't.
No, me either.
He's like, come on. I'm like, I don't even know how all this works. He like telling us which clubs we need to bring over there and showing us how to hit it and everything. And you got to do this, hit this way, that way. I mean, it was a experience. But it was super fun. So we kind of went through a couple.
Yeah, we did a couple rounds. And what did I tell you when your dad was like coaching? I said, I don't listen to all men. So if I listen to you, there is something about you that I have a respect for you.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to listen because I'm not good at listening all the time.
A rebel mentality. And it was amazing. I love watching my dad golf because I'll be like, look at him. He's so good at this.
I know he is. And so like, I was
all over that water.
Right. I'm like, I cannot
ball into the water.
But that was my first game, baby steps.
Yes. No, it was fun. That's why I like that. I'm like, I love even messing up because we had a couple moments where we was just like, what are we doing? But I
look forward to going back.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. That was fun. Had a good time. I feel like we got to have those type of little hobbies that we can just enjoy life. And
I agree. What did I tell you? I said, now these are the type of hobbies that when you call your friend like, hey, you want to go golfing? We've evolved.
Yes, we have. I like seeing the kids out there. There were some teenagers. Remember?
Yes.
Teenagers that was out there and they had their friend who hadn't golfed before. And they're like, come on. I'm like, this is their activity that they're doing on a Friday. Like, come on, we're going to go golf.
Right. And you think about it, it's safe. It's COVID safe. You're outdoors. Golf in the future as you grow up. Those are where deals are made on the golf course.
Oh, true. That's why I got to perfect this so we can be out here doing all kinds of things, not limiting ourselves to,
Well, and I said, I'm not a club person, but I will go to the golf club.
What else? It was a funny. So was that on? It must have been LinkedIn when I saw that. Yeah. Somebody had posted a link about UPS finally allowing their workers to wear their natural hair to work and facial hair. And I was like, first of all, did not know there was a rule.
I didn't either. So I was like appalled. I'm like, wow, like I didn't realize that.
Which, and I think we've probably touched on this before on this podcast where whenever you're talking about something with natural hair, it is always, it's specifically to us. There is nobody else who is getting discriminated against basically regarding their hair. And it's just tired. It is so, there's only, I think 13 states. They have 13 or so states that have the Crown Act law where you can't discriminate against somebody for their hair. It's black. It's black people. We're the natural hair wearing people. And
it should be across all states, if you ask me.
It's just sad that it even has to
exist.
Why? So I'm grateful for, working in a workplace that is not making no statements about my hair. Because I'm pretty much, that's all I got. What else I'm going to do? The hair that grow out my hair is natural. It's going to be.
That's a part of my DNA and my makeup. That's how I was born.
Faux locks, it is even bigger. Because my hair is curly, it's big, it's, so who wants to think about that? And I have had years and years of my life where I was thinking about how am I going to wear my hair to work? because you know you got certain meetings, or I don't feel like wearing my hair a certain way. I used to not wear my hair curly and big. I would wear it pulled back in a bun or straight.
Wow.
And stuff like that, just because it's like some of it is not even that somebody said you can't wear your hair like that. It's just that every time you do it, it's always a conversation around your hair. You know, it's like, oh wow, and it's like, stop, go educate yourself and stop asking me to touch my hair and to like, did it grow like this and stuff. Like, why don't you know this right now? YouTube is a friend. It is a really, because I go there, I have to go to YouTube to learn how to do my own natural hair because I have perm for so long. It was like 2004 when I decided to grow my hair out. I had a Halle Berry cut that I wore for about 5 years. It was fly and sassy. I love that. I'm gonna go back to that when I turn 50. I think I'm gonna go back.
Oh wow,
that was like the best. And so, but when I started, I realized I was like, oh, look at the little back started growing out. I had braids to
curly hair, right?
And I was like, my hair is actually kind of, this is a nice little. I used to think I had.
It's a like, great grade of hair.
Not great of hair. Because I was center-headed and my mom had put a perm in my hair when I was really young. So I never really lived life without
your natural. Wow.
Until I was grown in my 20s, you know, before I even knew. And so YouTube wasn't popping when I first went natural. And
right.
So, I didn't have the tutorials. And I was like, I was like sad at one point because I ended up going back to a perm after that. And then I ended up going back natural all over again because YouTube, it got a little bit more popular. And I was like, this is sad. I don't even know how to comb my own hair. Like my hair that's growing out of my head, I don't know how to comb it because I've had, you know, as far as the care that you need to use.
Exactly.
To take care of natural hair. And so ever since then, I've been natural since 2010. So now, I mean, I'm a professional when it comes to doing my hair now, but imagine just trying to live life where you're being criticized for your hair. You barely know how to do your own hair. You know, it's just a whole thing. So we need to get over that and stop that. So if anybody listening is working at a company where y'all are tripping about Black people in their hair, I need you to stop that.
And find different employment because, you know, for the longest, like you said, like I wore braids a lot, especially when I was working out because it was just easier in terms of maintenance and just my morning routine. It took off like 30 minutes at least.
That's why I got mine like this now.
And so, you know, when you get braids, you have to think, okay, what style can I get? What's going to make them comfortable where they won't, you know, feel like, oh my gosh, she's coming in here and, you know, no color.
I would not wear cornrows to work.
So in Chicago, cornrows is a thing. So you see that a lot, like from a Chicago perspective. And I would always get like micro braids. So they would look like, okay.
Like your hair.
Exactly. And I'm just like, why do I feel this way?
Yes. That's the sad part because it is a mental thing. I mean, think about it. Like when you wake up in the morning and you're like, what if you're just like tired? Sometimes doing hair is just, it's just tiring.
Right. And even,
it's a process. It takes me about an hour.
Yes. And even when I got braids, I was still like, just put it in a bun because a bun is like safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's going to be put up and like, oh, it's a nice little bun. It looks different, but it's a bun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stressful. So I hope that if anybody has influence on that in their organization, that they would definitely make sure that there is not people being treated differently or and you know, YouTube is so cool. It really is the education.
It is.
I go there for everything. You can get recipes, you can learn about hairstyles, you can learn how to fix the plumbing. It's all kind of stuff. I've used it to drain my water heater. I have learned how to do all kind of stuff from YouTube. Go there and just look up natural hair styles or whatever. And it'll take you down a rabbit hole and you'll just start seeing like, wow, look at the different textures of these women's hair and the type of products they're putting in. It just will be an educational experience just so that you can see the work that goes into us creating our hairstyles. It's work. It really is.
It really is a lot of work.
So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there because I was like, this is irritating. Did you watch? You didn't watch the fight last night, huh?
Remember you texted me, you said, because I thought about getting it, but I was like, $50. Yeah, I have it, but am I gonna be up? Probably not. I probably wasn't gonna make it.
Girl, I was up because it was like very entertaining.
I saw on Twitter, like, everybody commenting about like the knockout, Nate Robinson. And then I saw like some memes about two old uncles fighting. And I was like, I don't know if I want to see these old men fight.
It was nerve-wracking. The undercards were very good. It was worth it to me because sometimes I do feel like the undercards are way better than the actual main event.
The actual fight, right?
So the undercards were me and my dad. That was just kind of our bonding, because
that was worth it.
Like we about to get it. So we was on there. We just commenting, the whole time. So that was super fun. I told him, I was like, this is like us going to the movies, getting some.
That's true.
And whatever. He's like, because I was justifying how I'm gonna pay for stuff. I was like, see, $50, that ain't nothing.
Right.
So,
and you haven't gone anywhere. So it's not, like an entertainment budget. You think about entertainment.
Yeah. So we were, and Lauren had ordered it too. So we were texting the whole time, like, okay, who you got? We was picking a person before the fight starts,
right,
to win and stuff like that. So the Nate Robinson though, that was so sad. I felt so bad for that man. I was like, first of all, I just wanted to know who he fought before this. Like, I know this is his first professional fight, but who did you spar? Like, did you have a trainer? Like, did you fight in high school? Did you ever fight in elementary school? Like, ever in your life? Because this man you'll see eventually when they start showing it, probably on Showtime or somewhere, it's gonna be,
they're gonna show it
in a week or so. He just was like running into the guy. He just was like running at the man, right into his fist. Literally, no blocking, no form, no style, nothing. I'm like, I just felt, I picked him to win, in the beginning. I'm like, well, I'm going with the brother. I don't know the other guy. I know Nate Robinson. He had 3 times slam dunk champion.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The boy's an athlete. He looking good. He looks solid. His body, he looked like he in shape. I'm booting for the brother. And yeah, I felt sad. And it was just like, dang. Somebody posted on Twitter and they was like, I feel like it's racism. Something racist happened with this situation. They're like, I'm sorry, this feels like some racist situation happened. They were just like, they're being funny.
I did see that, but I didn't know. I was like, I'm trying to tie it in. But now I see what they mean.
Yeah, they was just joking, but it was just funny because I'm like, yeah, this is not good for the culture.
It's not. Someone even posted from the NBA, like, we need a do-over. Can we put somebody else in? That's what they said.
The best part of it. And I felt bad for him. I was like, he needs to disappear for a while because
social media is so savage.
It wasn't even all the way finished before all the memes had started. Like, it was literally immediately the memes started right away. And Snoop Dogg was commentating.
I heard about his commentation.
It made it so entertaining. I was like, we need Snoop on every single fight from this point forward. He was hilarious.
I saw that someone said he may have a new stream of income on a new profession.
He really should, because he's very talented. First of all, they had multiple artists that were in between each fight. French Montana, YG, some other dude that I don't know. They were
that's how you know you get old. Some other dude I don't know.
They were not good to me. None of them were great. I was like, who picked these artists? Wiz Khalifa, he was the first one. But then Snoop performed right before the Tyson thing, and I'm like, he's so just a professional. That man he just got it down packed. There was like a flawless performance by him, and I was just super excited about it. I was like, he should did the whole thing, because there's other people who played a time. So he was just a great addition to everything. And he was the funniest part. So when Nate got knocked out, he was like, precious.
I saw that.
He was just saying all the stuff that we would be saying on the couch. Like, literally, that is what we were saying. Because it was like, oh my Lord Jesus. Like, as soon as he fell out, it was just like all the stuff he was saying.
He had some great commentation.
It was great. So anyway, that was good and exciting. Tyson.
I was gonna say, what about the fight? The
fight. Basically, Roy just didn't die. That's what he was doing. He was being very on defense, And Tyson looked good. Like he looked really, really good. I mean, these are old people though. I mean, you could tell they're old men. They were so tired after them 2-minute round. It was breathing hard. And Roy was like, I'm just trying not to get knocked. He's like, and he said that at the end, he was like, anybody that everybody know, he's like, I don't care what he hit you with, his head, his arm, his jab or whatever, it hurt. It hurt. It's gonna hurt. He was in pain. He was like, and I don't care. So, but they were very respectful of each other.
Okay, good.
And it was a draw, and so we all knew that Tyson won. It technically was an exhibition fight, so they weren't really like. But that's only because they can't like get sanctioned to be a real, thing. But because they too old, they've been to hurt each other.
Too old.
And Tyson was like, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with a draw. And everybody was like, oh my God, you could just see a whole different Mike Tyson during this because he was so cool. He was being so
He
nice.
was different. He was mature.
Like nobody would ever say that. No boxer. Because even Roy Jones was like, he said, I wear draws. I don't have draws. But I'm like, he know his butt lost. Because he was just trying to hold on for dear life, as long as he could without getting hurt. Because it was a couple times we was like, oh Lord, please don't hurt this man. I was nervous. So
let me see how old Roy Jones Jr. 51. Is. Ooh.
51. He still got a little 6-pack though.
Really?
A light one, but it's
he said a light.
He said, I got a 6-pack. I thought that would help. He said, I need a 12-pack, Dylan. If he was hitting him, you could see it red in his I said, I would not want to get hit by Mike Tyson because he looked like he still got it.
He does. So
that was entertainment. I feel like I like those kind of things because it kind of reminds me of like how Versus, has been for us, like that little
I thought about Versus
light, that you get to have as an entertainment experience.
And now entertainment, they have to be creative, since we are in a pandemic.
Exactly.
I wonder how much money did it generate?
I'm sure it generated a lot. I think they both got like $1 million. I don't know. I don't think it was a whole lot of money, but I think I don't know. Maybe it was 15 million. I don't know. They both got more than they was going to get when they didn't. So
exactly. And at 51, you on the other side of the life.
And Roy had been doing the commentary stuff, commentating and everything. So he had a little career doing that. But now it's like, ain't no real stuff happening for you to be doing that. And Mike, he got his podcast, so, and some cannabis business stuff that he's into. So he's trying to reinvent himself in some other areas.
I love it.
He said he's going to keep on fighting. I was like, okay, you need to probably just chill. Everybody just.
He's ambitious. I like it.
Right. What else? Oh, speaking of creativity. So I get a call from my friend Wes from back home a couple days ago. And he was like, hey, have you heard of this app called Clubhouse? It's a new social media thing. And I think it'd be really good for your podcast. And I was like, okay, like, what is it? How? And he's like, well, it's an invite only thing. It's exclusive, blah, blah, blah. And they have these rooms. It's all audio. Celebrities are in there, all kind of folks from all over. He was trying to explain it. And I just was like, okay, well, just add me. He was like, well, I can't add you because it's like, you only get certain number of invites. And I just got in and blah, 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 blah. He was trying to explain it to me. I'm like, okay, well, he said, just join the wait list and see, let's just see what happens. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll join. At that same point, there was some controversy with Kevin Hart regarding this app. So was it
the controversy with Kevin Hart in the app or his comedy special?
It was both because the whole thing started about Kevin Hart in the app where there was a discussion going on about, is he still funny?
No, he's whack.
So that was the way that the app works, basically, because eventually one of my friends is in the app. So what they do, apparently, because this happened for you as well, once I told you about it, because the guy who told me about it is new, he didn't have the ability to do anything to help get me in. But somebody who I know is in the app. So what they'll do is if they check your phone number and they'll notify your friends, hey, Eric's on the wait list. Do you want to nominate her or whatever? And then I just saw this notification that so-and-so added you. And I'm like, hey, it's good to know.
Right.
So he added me and I finally got to go in there. Anyway, so these rooms, you can create rooms to start a conversation. And this is like kind of bringing us back to conversation versus the Twitter kind of just
behind the keyboard.
Yes, because I feel like we have lost the art of conversation. And you can tell because there's certain rooms that you go into and you're like, these people ain't talked to nobody in a long time because you don't even know how to have a dialogue like at all.
Exactly.
Rooms that are very insightful. They're very like we were in one last night with TD Jakes and
that was really good.
And so you're in these rooms with real people, and they're not all celebrities, but celebrities pop in and out, and there's certain ones that are on there a lot, and you can really just be sitting there having a conversation with Tiffany Haddish or Kevin Hart, which is kind of how this all started with the Kevin Hart thing. So there was a room created called Is Kevin Hart Still Funny, which they were basing that off of the comedy special. So they're in there just talking about the special and how they felt about it. And apparently one of Kevin's friends probably have popped in there because all his boys are on there, and he hops into the conversation, like just joins the room, like, hey, I'm here. And basically from what I got out of it, the energy shifted once he came in. Like people who were saying like, nah, he ain't funny and it wasn't funny and all that. When he came in, they're like, oh, hey, Kevin, we weren't talking about, right? And trying to be all whatever. And the black women that were in there was kind of calling it out to the black, calling the black man out about y'all be here all on his
right.
Job, basically. Let's keep 100, he not funny. That was kind of the energy that was being brought out there. And they felt like, the guys were, because women, when they were asked him a direct question about something that he said, and the guys felt like they needed to protect Kevin Hart and all this stuff. And he was trying to keep it calm. And I don't necessarily, I came in, I saw parts, of it, but it started becoming this conversation around black women being silenced and all these different things, which I just think, what I've learned from the little time that I've spent on this app, you got to pick and choose what rooms you want to be in. There are certain rooms where I'm like, as soon as I hop in, I hear the energy and I'm like, I'm out of here. I don't even want to be a part of this conversation because y'all sound hurt. Y'all sound broken.
Right.
Y'all are broken over here. But then there's other conversations where they're very healthy. You got people saying, hold on one moment. Let's let people finish, right. Like you're
being respectful.
Yes. So those are the rooms that I like to be in, where there's a order, the moderators, there's moderators in each room where they are guiding the conversation, and they can say, okay, one moment, we're only going to have certain people on the stage and you can talk, and then we'll put you back out into the audience where you can't talk. Then there's rooms where it's just like, rah, rah. There's a Bay Area. So I had joined this Bay Area room they were talking about music and different stuff, and Fab, Mr. Fab and a couple other folks that's Bay Area rappers and stuff was in there. He's very educated, by the way. If y'all have not heard about Mr. Fab, he's very educated Bay Area rapper. But just hearing him talk, I was like, y'all need to be around somebody who know how to have some conversation. Right. But it was points where I hopped in and it was like, it was just people talking over each other and they just being disrespectful.
Wait a minute though, can the moderator just kind of control like who?
But the moderators was in there doing the same thing. It's like if you don't know how to moderate, it doesn't like there's no rule to who could be a moderator. If you start the room, you can start designating who you want to be moderators, right? But there's no qualification to be a good moderator. Just like if you were in a panel discussion or something.
Okay.
It's the moderator's job. A good moderator knows how to moderate a conversation to where people get a chance to share their thoughts and you are being fairly distributing the questions and things like that. If you just got all these people on a thing and they just all talking,
there's no type of structure or
so it was one of those situations. So that's what I've taken away from it. Now it's a great platform. Like we're going to be using it to have some conversations and do some podcast stuff over there because you literally can have certain people in those rooms that could be very good for the conversation, And
you restrict, because I'm new to this, so you told me about it, but I feel like I heard it. I don't know where I heard it. I heard it. I heard about it, but I didn't hear about the name. They were just talking about it. I don't know where I heard it at or who I heard it from. And then when you came back and you shared, like, hey, you heard of Clubhouse? I'm like, no. And then you sent me the concept and I'm like, yes. And so I think you sent me the link. You told me to sign up to join and get on the wait list. And then last night or yesterday afternoon, I got a notification like you've been bumped up or something.
Because you had somebody who you knew that was established in there. So
got it.
Add you she probably got some kind of notification because your phone number came up and they're like, hey, you got a friend that's trying to get
right.
I was still too new. I think once I had only been in there 24 hours, not even 24 hours at that point. So they usually have a little, you see that little birthday symbol next to your picture? That's how you know somebody is like less than 2 days, in the app. Now I don't have that anymore. I don't have the little birthday thing that's next to my name.
Okay.
I might start getting some type of access, and I've been contributing. Now I've been enabled, like the more engagement you do in the app, the more you'll get.
I got you.
Like to get invitations to invite people and different things like that. So I've been moderator multiple times already. I done been in conversations with football player, NFL people,
Wow.
like all this stuff. So
I wonder how many people are on here like total right now.
The people that are the most popular have like 39,000 or maybe 40,000 followers. So I haven't seen nothing higher than that.
Okay.
I don't think it's that many, It's like kind of getting in the first part of Twitter and you're able to connect with all these celebrities early, right? So it's that's the concept. But now
I like it.
It's voice. So I'm literally talking to these people, So I'm like, this is crazy. Like you could really just be.
I like it.
You was like Thomas. I'm like, that's Thomas Dexter the third, girl. He on here dropping gems.
Like, can he go ahead and put that TD up in there so somebody know? I'm like, who is Thomas?
Yep. So it's very interesting. I mean, you start realizing that people are just regular. To be honest,
they're regular people.
Because I'm like,
and we must not idolize these celebrities. They're regular people.
Because I'm telling you, it's some of them. I was like, ugh, let me get out of this room. I don't like you. Like your conversation is whack, and you got millions of dollars, and you're that person that I would want to have a dialogue with.
I love it.
So yeah, but anywho, that was just kind of the latest.
I like it.
Craze that's going on or whatever.
I love it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not really I try and limit my social media engagement. But listening, it's like listening to a podcast, a live podcast.
Yeah. And you can keep it in the background while you're doing other things. So
I saw that.
You can minimize the app and it just keeps going. So I talked to Trill NBA on there.
Okay, shout out to Trill NBA.
We were having a conversation about audio because we wanted to record some podcast stuff on there. And so she sent me this diagram that somebody sent her and stuff. So like it's a good way to connect.
It's education too. It's like resources. It actually is virtual networking.
It is, but I like it because it's conversation. We like to talk. So
yes,
I like that part. Girl, did you watch Ready to Love, child?
Okay, so I was already thrown off by the days of being off. So I'm like, what day is it? So
so you said
right, and so Friday night I realized because I kept going to TV One, not thinking like, okay, Kim, it's on OWN. Mm-hmm. So by the time I realized, I was like, darn it, I missed it. So I recorded the 11 o'clock. Well, I knew I wasn't going to be up. So I was like, I'll watch it in the morning. So I watched it Saturday morning and girl.
I had my mama come over yesterday to binge watch them up to that episode so that we could watch it together.
I love it because just her generation. I need to watch it with my mom.
She loves that show.
To get the perspective because they're a different generation, right? This is new. Like they weren't going off to a resort doing matchmaking.
You don't want to watch this with my mom. You know how she is. You know how she is at movies and stuff. So she makes me put the closed caption on. So YouTube, you can go if y'all haven't watched it. You don't have OWN. Go to YouTube. They have all the episodes on YouTube, full episodes. You just got to make sure you put in OWN. No, you put Ready to Love season 3 episode, and it got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go in there and find them. Anyway, so I get her to come in, and when I tell you, she just that's ridiculous. That's crazy. Like everything she just got. I mean, something to say, and then there'd be times where she like missed the whole thing because she's not really listening because she's talking the whole time. I'm like, I'm not gonna be rewinding now. You better keep up, girl, with what's going on. So yeah,
you should have recorded her.
Oh, she's and my dad watched with us too.
Oh wow.
Just be watching quiet. He be listening now. He looking. He like You just say stuff like that. He's real. My parents are so opposite.
So opposite. That is like my mom. My mom and dad.
I laugh about something, but she's like talking the whole time. Anyway, what was your thoughts? So okay? So I hope y'all are caught up, whoever listening, because we about
I
to
know, right?
Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched these episode 6, pause, go watch it, come back. It was interesting turn of events.
Yeah, because this episode they actually had their friend, the ones who made it right to this cut. They actually had their friends to come and interview them, and you know your friends don't hold back.
I thought about it. I said, who would I have come be the? I said, I feel like Mama said Kim, and I said I would, but at the same,
you would need somebody else too.
Lauren as well, because I said she'll drill harder in.
Yes.
Like without caring about the person.
Right.
Like, I don't care if she like.
Now I'm going to care. I'm going to drill.
I think you're going to care more. If you know that I like the guy, you're not going to drill as hard as. You probably won't drill as hard. Lauren, if she knows I like the guy or not, she going to go all the way.
I'm going to tell you who I'm bringing. You, Mika, and Mona.
Oh, yeah. We get a good.
Because Mona is going to be you're going to be all over them. But if they can deal with Mona, I mean, because she's going to go deeper. Yeah. You're going to go deeper. But she's a special one.
She's going to bring kind of that. I ain't gonna call her no elder, but she is older than
I'll call her the elderly.
She's going to bring, not elderly. She's going to bring that OG flavor that we need.
Yes.
To get a little under, because she got some years of marriage under her belt and she done this thing. So she going to bring some other stuff to the. Right. Yeah. I thought about that. I was like, who would I bring? So my favorites right now, Joy is my favorite woman.
She has been my favorite since the beginning. It's just her energy, just like the guy said, that guy Jay, he said it. He said, you just met her, but her energy is felt. Yeah. Right. You feel it when you walk and when she's an experience.
Yes. And I would be friends with her.
I would too.
The way that she talks, the way she carries herself, she's a woman. She's a grown woman out here, and she's confident in herself and who she is. So it's like, I know who I like. I'm just being me. I'm gonna spend time with these people. That's it. It is what it is. And it's whatever.
She even brings unity to the whole. Because remember, there was some issue with someone. Who was it?
Simone. She had tried to throw salt in the game.
Yes.
Jay talking to Winter.
Yes.
And it ended up turning back on her, which how it always is when you're running your mouth up in people's business. But she was trying to. She said that she's used to being the one chased and coveted, and she was just immature in that moment.
Right.
And that's sad. But let me see. What was okay? Naya and Chris.
Naya and Chris, the radio personality.
Yes. So they were like peas and carrots from the beginning. That was the hit couple. They knew they were going to be in the mix because they were just hitting it off in all these different ways. They had great dates. They were just vibing. She had her cousin come as her person to drill him, basically.
Yes.
First of all, can I just say I love her hair without the weave?
Who?
Naya, the short haircut. She looks 100 times better with the her hair just in the short haircut.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, like that hairstyle did her no justice. The one she had before. I'm serious. Like, you know how hairstyle could make or break?
Yes.
Her face looks totally different with this haircut. And I
like the haircut.
I used to love. That's how my hair was, girl. I used to love my little short haircut. That does something to your face. Anyway, that cousin said, how do you feel about finances? What's your thoughts on finances in the household? Because these are people who are talking about getting married. They are looking.
That's important.
Love. They are ready to move into the next, eventually into marriage. And so the cousin is asking him about finances and going to church and everything. Like she getting
everything.
He said they would split the bills. And he followed it up by saying there's no money in radio. He's not doing this for the money.
And I'm sure you make more money than me.
I know she make more money than me. So, I'll fill in the gaps wherever where we need to. She lost it. Just like how you look right now. That's how she was looking. She said, oh, heck no.
And she could not get over that.
It was
Period.
a problem.
Even when he tried to redeem himself.
His little friends, the girls, he went to the girls, and Joy, our girl, and Sabo tried to help him, be like, no, you can't say that. This is how
they tried to coach him through it.
He tried to go back and tell her, like, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. She was gone.
She was already on the next one.
She's gone. She didn't kiss another man already on the way. I said she was not here for him in that. Which, okay, let's talk about this. We've had these conversations before. I feel like this is a great way to just kind of bring us into a good topic, because we talked earlier about the roles and relationships and all that stuff. And if you have two people who are working, and
so let me preface it,
making less money than the woman, because he probably does make less. He probably ain't making that whole bunch of money, but you live in a life. You have a house or a home. You live somewhere. You pay for, right? You eat. You have lights. You're doing all this already by yourself. So I think that's kind of where that comes from. It's like, okay, but you want to have this, I'm the man of the house thing. Yet you want to split the bills. I can speak from experience on this, because my first marriage, we split everything 50-50. A lot of it had to do with lack of trust in the financial department, because, I mean, not to throw him under the bus, but we were both young, and he used to share an account with his mom. And we never shared a bank account, which I personally was not having a problem with, because I did not at that time. I mean, I'm 22 years old. I mean, think about it. Right? He spent money more than me. I was the saver and he was a spender. And so I'm in the process. I'm like getting us out of debt and all this stuff. And as soon as I would get us out of debt, he then went back and charged up a card and do all this, because he was trying to keep up with the Joneses. That was kind of his thing. Not to judge people from LA, but he had that LA.
Oh, gotcha.
So he was into clothes and, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm trying to build, I'm right. Trying to get, and it was just that was our stressor. Financials was a big problem in our marriage. We would go out to eat. It's like, who gonna pay for this and that? And literally every bill, I was doing the finances, and I'd be like, you owe me, the bills are $847.54, or whatever. Like, it was to the penny. I'm like, I got a roommate.
That's what it sounds like.
What is this? And so I do think there's something to the putting your money together. And that was the separate thing for me when me and the boys' dad, we put all our money in the same account. And we just paid the bills out of that. And it was just what it was.
So you put all of your money, because I don't have any experience in this. Yeah. And this is also one of the reasons why I may not want any experience either. So you have all of your funds put into one account.
Yes. That was how and I will tell you, the reason it worked was because he's not a spender like that.
Right.
So we had respect for what we're doing. He really didn't even care to spend the money. Like, it wasn't like he spent money. I literally would go buy his clothes from the store. He's just not that dude. So
I will be okay with that.
For opposite. I was looking for opposite, right? I'm the one that'd be like, okay, I want to go buy this Apple something.
Right.
I'm just letting you know.
And he was okay with it.
He wasn't tripping, because as long as the bills are paid, what we tripping off of? We already, stuff is getting taken care of.
That's true.
So I think you really need to have that.
That's why it's important to have that conversation, is to understand, are they a spender? Are they a saver? Like, how do they manage their money? And what type of debt do they have? Because I feel like, especially at the age, I'm going to speak for myself, that where I'm at, that's important. Like, am I A+? No. But I'm not where I'm spending my money and I can't eat the next. As soon as I get paid, I don't have any money.
Check to check.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a big part of the rise and fall of relationships, those financials, because there's people that I've dated and we did not see eye to eye on them financials. And literally that is what stopped us from pursuing
Pressing.
further in a relationship.
Really?
Because we just didn't have the same philosophy behind it. I did the whole financial peace university thing. I don't do it to a T like now, because I've learned the discipline, of how I do my budgeting and all that and saving and all that. But I need you to have the same type of stewardship mindset that I have, because that's a big conflict. If I'm over here like I'm saving so we could do these, certain things, and then you're over here just spending, what are we doing? We're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. And I know every relationship is different. I know some people, they don't have joint accounts.
I do too. And that's just a weird feeling, because you go out to eat and like, who's going to pay and all that. And, and then there's another thing where I think some of the guys, they feel like, well, you work and I work, like, why I got to pay all the bills? That'll be kind of the argument that I've heard. And I usually I'm like, okay, don't you already pay rent? Like, why is that any different? It doesn't mean that I'm not contributing to the household or that my money ain't going into the bank account. It's still going. Like, why is that even a conversation? So I do think putting all your money together helps eliminate that who paid for this and that type of thing. You may have separate accounts as well that you put personal money in, that, hey, I have, we give each other, a certain amount a month that we're like, do whatever you want to do with, whatever. This is our money we're going to put in savings. This is our money for bills. Whatever else you can put over here, or you can do whatever you want to do. So it just really depends on how y'all feel about all that. I don't know. In my mind, I need to feel like you're providing. Not to say that you have to make it
as a husband should provide and protect. I mean, like, let's talk about Kafani and what was that other guy? Yes, they had some very great responses.
Kafani, he had the best responses, because
when he said that prayer warrior,
he got the Lord in his life. He always talking about, always talking about that. I don't know how deep, and all that, but it was just like, he said, I'm gonna be a provider and a prayer warrior
and a protector. He said, not only am I going to provide and protect, but I'm going to be that prayer warrior.
I said, come on,
girl. I was like, okay, fine.
That's a big one. So, there's just a lot of pieces involved. I think that, you
have to explore and understand.
That was one that she was not okay with.
And you have to respect it, right?
Yep. That's why I was like, that was very big for her. That was big. And I don't want to feel like my man, he said that filling in the gaps, I'm going to come in with, I don't like that. That whole mentality.
I didn't either, because you know what I immediately thought about? Black women are so like strong, and they put that strong on us. I've been told by other women who are not Black, especially at work, wow, Kim, you are so strong. Why do I have to have so much strength to go through what I'm going? I want to be like you ladies.
I want to be strong spiritually.
Yes.
I don't want to be strong on this part. This part.
I don't want and it's strong in pain. That's what it is. I'm strong through pain.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I mean, I do, because as a follower of Christ, you're gonna. What did Dr. Darius Daniels tell us this morning?
Paying for your plane. Yep.
Yeah, because you're gonna. That is a part of it. But I'll tell you, from my experience, my respect level for my husband went down, because there will be times where I will be like, hey, the light bill was, and we were young and had a little bit of money, but we had a house that we could barely afford. And, so I'm like, hey, the light bill was $20 extra this month, or something like that. Right. And he'd be like, I ain't got it. And I'm like,
interesting.
What? Okay. So what does that mean? Because that's what I think about when I hear filling in the gap. I don't have it either. So am I supposed to go get it? Am I supposed to go find it?
You're supposed to fill in the gap.
That's the part where I'm like, see, now how is that being the leader? Like, and let's just talk about leadership. A leader leads by example. They are the one that's in the forefront. They get the brunt of the stuff before everybody else.
That's just like the supervisor and their employees. The supervisor is going to take responsibility for it.
So you want me to look at you as a leader, but when I bring a problem to you that we have, where I we make the same amount of money. I was making 40,000, or something like that. I was making not a lot, and we were living in California with a house. Okay, so just for context, our house was it cost double, probably 3 times as much as the house I got right now. That's how expensive our homes are out there. So I'm living in this. This is before the housing crisis. We were a part of. We were literally the predatory lending situation.
Yes.
So I'm like, so what we gonna do? And I'm talking about like, this would be the fight. Like, you get mad at me because the bill costs more, and I'm asking you to at least come up with some of it. And so that's going to mess you up relationally. It's going to be an issue. And so I don't know. I feel like, leadership is not just a title. It is action. It is a role. It is a position, that you're in.
You have to play. It's like on a football team. If you're going to leader, you're going to play that position of the leader, and they're going to follow your lead.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I think it's just something worth the conversation for sure. I know I have a certain.
It is absolutely worth a conversation.
I look at my dad, and he was even the type where he like, I'm gonna handle all the main stuff. If you want to go out doing all that shopping and all that, whatever, that's y'all. You go do that with your money that you making at your job, every day. This mortgage gonna be paid. These bills gonna be paid. Everything outside of that, you want to go buy clothes all week, do you?
And actually, that's how my dad was too. So, and my mother made more than him, but he managed to make sure all of our bills were paid in terms of the rent, the utilities and whatnot. And she may have paid our car note or something like that, but that was it.
Yep. So that's kind of, I think you got to come up with something that feels good for everybody.
Because you don't know how that person was raised. Because when he said that, and I was like, that hit me 2 ways. One, it was like, well, she makes more money than me. Well, what that got to do with it?
Do you not have a house to live in right now? Do you not have shelter?
Number 2, fill in the gaps. I'm like, fill in the gaps. Like, so what? Am I going out first and you standing behind me? Like, no.
I was like, absolutely.
And in my mind, it immediately hit like, wow, well, my dad didn't make as much as my mom, but he managed to get it done. And I'm like, we're in a new day and age now. You can have a side hustle.
You sure could. I don't know. It's something about taking pride in providing,
taking care, yes,
and being like, I'm gonna handle it. Don't worry about how we gonna get. I got it.
He tried to clean it up. He tried to clean it up and said, well, it's some women, we're in a new day and age where they're empowered. I'm empowered, but not in that arena.
I'm not empowered. Put me in the old days.
I'm gonna put my duster on and just go sit back and relax. Let me put my duster.
It's not that we're saying we want to be housewives. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't know. It's the thing.
This is a good conversation that I think
it's good.
I think this would be a great conversation to have in Clubhouse. Like, and it really goes back to, what are your views? How were you raised? Because everybody doesn't have the same view. There probably are some women who would be okay with that.
Yeah.
But where I'm at now, like you said, if you already have a house or you already are somewhere, you're living somewhere, you're already taking care of it.
If somebody moved into my house right now, I already paid the mortgage. I'm paying the light bill. You know what I mean? So it's already that it's not taking away from me to now pay for a mortgage because I'm already paying it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So that's where the mentality comes in for me of like, but you're already paying it somewhere, right?
Like, are you homeless?
Right? Because we don't need to be together no way at that point. We're gonna need you to get established before you start trying to be in a relationship. But yeah, so it was and it does kind of lead into what you were talking about earlier about, us with rest and kind of the pressures of, where we're at as Black women. We have risen, in so many areas, educationally. My dad even said, he was like, if it wasn't for you, I would still have that mentality of like a chauvinist, kind of.
Wow.
You don't know what you don't know. And you kind of, if you just have this stuck mentality on like what it's like, what it should be like to be, what a wife is and what a woman is and all this stuff, you need to expand your mind. And also don't just look outside of yourself saying, I want to be, respected as the man of the house. I want to be the leader. And you want this title, but you don't want to actually fulfill the role. The role requires sacrifice. It requires more, you taking less. And what did Simon Sinek's book say? Leaders
eat last.
So don't just try to be the leader just to be like, because I'm the man, I'm gonna be no. If you're gonna be one, be one. And
correct.
It's stuff that comes with that. There is a respect level that comes with that. There is something that says, hey, I want to. And that's why I was like, why do I want to? Like, just because you have a penis does not mean that you automatically get to be, this person. It comes with the position of what you're doing. It's not just your gender, or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a dialogue. And everybody has their individual feeling. These are all my personal opinions.
These aren't facts.
My experience and what I want in my life. Outside of that, hey, I could be here by myself doing what I'm doing already. And I'm happy.
Correct.
I'm a free and I ain't got to clean and cook for nobody. I do it for myself. So, yeah, make me want to clean and pick up your dirty drawers. How about that?
Inspire and motivate me.
And there's a lot of ways you can do that. Yes. So, Kim, you got your shirt on.
Nap queen.
I think we need to, as we just got through saying with this conversation, and I feel like we talk about this a lot though.
I do too, but I mean, just as a reminder, as we end the year, like I can think back to a lot of times where I was just always on the go, nonstop, going, making sure you have activities, going get dinner, doing homework. And never really sat down to truly rest.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm at this moment, I'm like, why didn't I do that? Why did I feel like I had to keep going? Why did I overcompensate? Right? Because sometimes we overcompensate, we overschedule. Everything is over. Now I'm at a point where I'm like, I want to underschedule. Right? I'm just a total pivot.
Leave margin.
Yes. And so like, let's normalize Black women experiencing good rest. And I talked to you about this weekend. When we don't rest, we're not getting the rest that we need. We have cortisol in our stomachs, right? From the stress. It's expanding our stomachs. You're not resting. And if you're not resting, you probably don't make time for exercise, which is a part of self-care and which is important. It just goes back to what we keep saying at previous episodes. Is like, you got to put your mask on first.
What did Bishop Jake say in Clubhouse last night? He said, the more you are stressed, it means that you need more structure.
Yes.
Use the analogy of like building a house is built for a certain level of stability. It's built on a certain foundation that will hold a certain amount of people, right?
Yes.
To make a bigger structure like these towers, these big old skyscrapers and stuff, you need a bigger structure, right? You need more structure, more stability, more pillars, more
yep,
hold that together. And he said, when you start feeling stressed, that means you need some adequate structure. You need to get more support. Maybe you got a new job. Maybe you got somebody living with you now that wasn't living with you or whatever. You might need to get more help. You need to get somebody else to come in and help you
yes,
to relieve that stress. That stress comes from when it's all in that one place.
Yep.
You doing everything. Okay, I need to figure out how to get some additional help in this place. So I'm with you on that. I definitely feel like not feeling guilty about rest, not feeling guilty about being like, what you know, nothing, laying in my bed. What?
Yep.
Like,
I've adopted that mentality. That's why I was like, I don't know, after this post-pandemic, it's going to take a lot for me to put on some underwear to get out the house.
Exactly. It went from not wanting to wear a bra to not wanting to wear drawers.
Exactly. And then not only that, like normalizing rest, normalizing Black women experiencing luxury. Like, take your girls trip. I used to feel guilty for that, not taking Kiara. She would put a guilt trip on me, like, you're going on a trip without me? No, your kids need to see you do things for yourself.
I've normalized that in my life. My kids know. Like, they be like, are you going? Now they want to know, is it a trip that we're going to get to go on, or is it just you and your friends? Like, they know. I'm like, nope, me and my girls, we're going to and that's what it
And
is.
do it early, and
Feel
do it
so good.
early so that they know, like, oh, that's our annual girls trip. Because once they get older, it's like you talked about your dad shifting that mentality. Like, it's necessary. And also normalize having hobbies. Like, we went to play golf, like having time, girlfriend time, whatever that is, not just to eat, but to actually have a hobby. Because guess what? We saw 3 other black men out there.
Yes, yes, yes. We saw I mean, just it was so many different type of people out there. But when you it's like, hey, we look at each other like, what's going on? We talking, whatever. And so that is definitely something that I think, especially for us, just because we do put a lot, we take on a lot. And what this is what I had to do. And it might not be all the extra stuff. Like, we just named some very tangible things. Sometimes I'm gonna tell you, my nephew, my oldest nephew, that's my baby. I was 15 when he was born. That was like, we were like this. I had him as my newborn when he came out of his mom. I held him before she did. Okay. And he lived with me for 6 whole months. He was my child from birth. Like,
wow,
my own apartment at 15. Okay. So I'm letting y'all know the real. And so we're very close. And over the years, he's gone, live in different places and stuff like that. And he lived with me at one point here. And he's about to be, he just turned 27. But he's he's still trying to find himself, and figure his life out. And so sometimes he'll do things on social media and all that stuff. And I just be like, why are you doing that? Like, you don't get it. You know how long I've been telling him the same stuff about social media and how you can't, Well, I saw a video today actually, that he posted. It was so bad. It was just horrible. And old me would have been like, you need to turn that down and do this and that. I would have gave him a whole lecture about it. I looked at it and I was like,
not an Aries problem.
Mentally, I'm telling you, it works. You just got to say, he a grown man. That's literally what I said. I'm like, I can't, I just can't take on every problem. I can't take on every.
You cannot.
We cannot. Dirty draws. Okay, I love that boy. Like, he was my first child. Like, I once I had kids, I learned that I love my nephews like they were mine. Like, I really did have a genuine love for my nephews. And so even with all of that, I feel like that's preparing me for when my kids do some stupid stuff.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? To where I'm like, you know what? I need to, like what Dr. Darius said today. Like, I need to start preparing in my mind for when my kids disappoint me. When they're gonna do things that I'm not proud of. They're gonna do stuff just because it's a part of life, right? I just need to start really settling within myself that I'm not gonna take on that burden, for every little thing.
Same.
We'll do. So it might take you taking that action of not jumping into the business, not being the ear for all the problems in the whole family, and all that stuff. So those things are freeing, and not letting nobody guilt you of why you don't want to hear the mess. So protect your space. Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna wrap up call to action.
I would say the 3 call to actions, and I know we probably talked about this before, but girl, go get some rest. Use this as an opportunity as you close out the year, what your rest plan is going to be. Have a day. I like Sundays, or actually like Saturdays. Saturdays is pretty much my rest day.
Yeah, same.
Develop a plan for more structure. So if you are stressed, it's like, okay, identify those stress points and where you need to implement structure. That structure might be with your kids. It might be, okay, one thing I did with Kiara, and we was watching the Netflix special with Debbie Allen with the whole dance. Mm-hmm. And I talked about how extracurricular activities help build character. It builds character because I would let her know, like, okay, listen, your bag needs to be packed. If your homework is not done and your bag is not packed, you don't get to go. So you must have structure in order for you to participate in these activities.
Yeah. And so, I don't feel guilty when you don't get to go.
You say what?
And don't feel guilty when you don't get to go, because I told you what the structure was. What needs to take place. Yeah.
And that structure might need to be with your kids to alleviate some things off of you. Because a lot of times we try and take on so much from our kids when we need to put the pressure on them.
Yes, hand holding, that helicopter parenting. No, give them their responsibility. I had put LJ on a punishment. I might have mentioned it, but
no.
he couldn't find his spelling words. Every week they have words they have to study when they go to their dad's. And when they come back, I give them a test on Tuesdays. And when he came back, I actually didn't even give them the test that week until like Wednesday or Thursday. I gave them an extra couple of days. He could not find those words. So you had multiple days you could have been studying, right? So I told him, I'm like, until you find those words, you can't play on this computer.
I love it.
The whole day. He could not find out. He all the way until I let it go all the way until like almost the evening. And so finally, I helped him figure out. He could have had the words. It was in a whole. He had the words from somewhere. You copied them from somewhere to put them on the things. So you didn't even think. I'm trying to help him with the critical thinking piece. I'm like, where can you find those words? He was like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, fine. You can't find them. Then you just
sit in your I don't know.
So
sit in that.
With the I don't know. Right. So finally, I get to the point that I tell him. I said, and you know why you've been sitting all day not on the video game? You know that was your punishment for. Because I didn't tell him that's what I was doing. I'm like, until you find it, you can't do it. But I was like, that is your punishment for not. I want you to learn how to think. You literally need to learn how to like backtrack
for yourself
and figure that out, you know. And I'm not going to be holding your hand. There are going to be times where school comes and you can't be just not knowing. You need to figure it out. Find another way, you know, or whatever. So yes, I'm with all of that.
And then last but not least, I love that though. I love that. Find a hobby.
Yeah. That's just yours. It's just your thing that you love.
Yep.
And
even this hobby that you wouldn't mind going and doing it by yourself.
Yes. I think it's important to have one like that. It's just your thing. It's not everybody else's. It's your thing. I don't care if it's coloring books.
Whatever
that is. So yes, love that. We have this, I posted this little meme that Kim had sent me a while ago, and it said, arrested woman is an unstoppable woman. And I think that's a great way to end this episode.
Because when you're arrested, you have energy.
You do. And your clarity. We thank you all for listening. We will really appreciate it if you will subscribe and like our YouTube videos. We are trying to build up our YouTube channel now. We have not really been super pushing it, but if you are, hopefully if you're watching this, you are subscribed. If you are listening to this, just go on over to YouTube and subscribe, just so that you can get the visual side of things. But we're trying to grow our YouTube channel because if we can get to a certain number of followers, we can start monetizing the podcast, and then we can start helping support some of the things we need to do to grow the podcast. We do this all by ourselves. We don't have any producers or editors and none of that stuff. So it will really help us if we could upgrade some things.
Like Beyonce, upgrade.
And as we grow for 2021, we got some exciting stuff coming with new merch and all that. And it would definitely help us support the podcast. So like, subscribe, rate us if you're on iTunes, and we will see y'all next week as we have about 2 episodes left, I think, of the podcast. So of the season.
Right.
We got to go rest. We're going to go rest for the rest of the year.
Take a sabbatical.
Exactly. And we'll be back.
Slight sabbatical.
In January. But yeah, we got 2 more episodes, I think. And then we go from there. All right, y'all. Have a bold week. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.